2024 scares me. I don't know what's going to happen. 2005, you said was bad. 2016 haunts me. Is this going to be a situation once again where people are helpless, looking at the sky, completely at mercy and hoping that this will end sometime soon? Are we seeing something like that, sir?
Something which you can't avoid.
Now, well, my friends, why do I say brace yourselves? Because it is that time of the year where we know what's happening, we feel what's happening, we don't like to expect and believe that it actually is going to happen once again. The entire world faces 4 seasons. We have summer, we have spring, we have autumn, we have winter. But in Chennai, we have hot, hotter, hottest, and December. That's how it is. That's how diverse our entire year is. Well, if predictions are to be believed, I don't know how much rains, the level of cyclones, I don't know. That's why we have an enthusiast. He calls himself an enthusiast. I say he's an expert at this. But to understand what's happening this North East Monsoon, I have with me a weather enthusiast, Mr. Srikanth from the very, very popular Chennai Rains. Vanakkam and welcome, sir. How are you?
Vanakkam. I'm fine. How are you? All well?
So far, we all are safe and dry. I don't know what's going to happen in the next coming weeks. But, sir, you are not you're not a Jyotishi. You don't know in terms of what's in the palms and what's in the numbers and in the gems. But you predicted recently, which caught all of our attention. Neenga sonninga Tamil Nadule vandu indha varsham it's going to be a bit different. There's going to be more than one cyclone. Those are your words, sir.
Yes.
Before we go into what's happening, for my comfort level, sir, just to calm down my BP and Tamil Nadu's BP, I want to ask you, how often do you go wrong? What's your success rate, sir?
With weather, there's nothing called 100%. அது நம்ம வந்து clean-ஆ சொல்லிடலாம். For example, 2018 நினைக்கிறேன் பேட்டாயின்னு ஒரு புயல் வந்துச்சு. சென்னை வரும்னு நினைச்சோம். சென்னை வரப்போகுதுன்னு போஸ்ட் பண்ணேன், வரவே இல்லை. ஆல்மோஸ்ட் 300 kilometers ஆஃப் சென்னை. ரைட், ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கலாம். ஸோ வரும்னா நிச்சயமா வராது, அப்படிலாம் கேரண்டி கிடையாது. பட் டு பி ஹானஸ்ட், ஐ ப்ரிஃபர் டு சே சம்திங் வென் ஐ எம் ஃபேர்லி ஷுவர், அந்த மாதிரி. ஸோ வென் ஐ சே இட்ஸ் மோர் தென் ஒன் சைக்ளோன், த ரீசன் இஸ் இதே மாதிரி past yearsல whenever the atmospheric conditions have been very similar, the 2024ல இந்த மாதிரி பார்த்தோம்னா, there are years where we have had more than one cyclone impacting Tamil Nadu. So we'll have to look at it in a different way. என்னன்னா வந்து இம்பேக்ட்னா புயல் கரையை கடக்கிறது மட்டும் இம்பேக்ட் கிடையாது. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், நீவர் எடுத்துக்கோங்க, 2020, ஓகே, பாண்டிச்சேரி கிட்ட கரையை கடந்துச்சு. சம் ஆஃப் த ஹெவியஸ்ட் ரெயின்ஸ் ஹேப்பன்ட் இன் சென்னை. நமக்கு அதுக்கு முந்தின நாள் லைட்லாம் ஃபுல்லாக மழை. ஓகே, கஜா கம்ப்ளீட்லி டெல்டா பெல்ட், நமக்கு ஒன்றுமே வரல. ரைட், ஸோ சைக்ளோன்ஸ் ஹாவ் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் வேஸ் ஆஃப் இம்பேக்டிங் அஸ். வார்தா நமக்கு வந்து டைரக்ட் ஹிட், சென்னையை சும்மா புரட்டி போட்டுருச்சு. ரைட், ஸோ வென் ஐ சே இம்பேக்ட், it could be anything. It could be rains, it could be winds as well. So adu vandu we will not know until we are closer to the event. Right, but as someone who's been talking of being prepared weather-wise, it's my responsibility to tell people, hey guys, this is what is going to happen. Let's be prepared.
They say
being panicky.
They say prevention is better than cure. Absolutely. I think your preparation is better than cure.
Absolutely.
Seeing what you say, seeing the way government is doing last minute, they say safety measures, we say panic measures. When we see all this happening, it makes us believe that this has not happened before in Tamil Nadu. Early preparations, government preparing so much earlier, weather experts like yourself saying, watch out, it's going to be probably the worst that's coming up. Tell me in your best ability, this 2024, what are you seeing compared to the previous years? In the varsho ennada agapodhu based on your understanding?
Rains. That's something which I think we should all expect. Okay. Past analogs அதை எடுத்துப்பேன். ஆக்சுவலாக எப்படின்னா, ஒரு வருஷம் மாதிரி முன்னாடி ஹிஸ்டாரிக்கலாக ஒரு 50-60 வருஷத்துல 25 வருஷத்துல என்னென்ன வருஷம் இதே மாதிரி கிட்டத்தட்ட இருந்தது அப்படின்னு பார்த்தா, there are some years which come up, and those years are very, very, very important. 2005 வச்சுக்கோ first. Let's take 2005. Historical floods across Tamil Nadu. I think Chennai received some 150 centimeters during North East Monsoon. Everywhere it was flooded. நிக்கவே இல்லை. அக்டோபர் மிடில் ஆரம்பிச்ச மழை டிசம்பர் 2 வரைக்கும். There was no break. Okay. 2016 வார்தா. Okay. 2020 நான் சொன்ன நீவர் முன்னாடியே சொன்ன மாதிரி. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி இன்னொரு very important year, 1964. 1964 is a watershed moment because that year saw the Dhanushkodi cyclone. The cyclone which pretty much ended Dhanushkodi as a railway station and as an inhabitable island. அந்த தீவில் அதுக்கப்புறம் யாருமே வாழலை. We had a train coming under storm surge, etc. Yeah. So each of these years have had some historical events. 2016 Varda Irundo, it was a drought actually. Historical drought. Second worst rainfall in about 125 years across Tamil Nadu. அதே மாதிரி 1988 கிட்டத்தட்ட similar conditions. தண்ணி மழையே இல்லை. So what we are seeing is that this year ரெண்டு பக்கம் swing ஆகலாம். Either we could see an extreme rain or we could see a extreme drought. அந்த மாதிரி தான் past years historically இந்த conditionல பார்த்துருக்கோம். But I think இந்த வருஷம் keeping current in conditions in mind, it's possibly likely to swing towards the rain. If it is going to swing towards the rain, then above average or excess rains is a very high possibility. And நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி இது எல்லாமே 2016 2020 2011 Thane, I think everyone would remember Pondicherry suffered one of the worst damages in its last 100 years. Thane was again a similar year. So we've had instances where the coast of Tamil Nadu has been affected by cyclones in similar years. That was the reason which triggered me. Okay, I think possibly we should be prepared.
You know what makes us feel a little more scared, sir? One is what's coming up from the skies, which we can't control too much. But like you said, preparation romba mukkiyam irukku. I'm thinking, and Tamil Nadu is believing, look at our land. Look at the roads of Chennai. Where is the storm water drain? Look at the condition of how many open roads, cut up roads we have, hanging wires. This is what our situation is. Do you think that the city is not prepared to receive what it had received and what you are predicting? Are we ready for that? Are we equipped for that, sir? Give me an honest answer.
I think
these are controllables. These are not uncontrollables.
Yes, even with controllables, there are other issues which we'll have to think of from the weather point of view. Last year, if you see, during Southwest Monsoon, we had almost 650 mm of rains. Typically, Southwest Monsoon should give you 450 millimeters. You got almost 60-70% more. This year again, Chennai oda pala areas during Southwest Monsoon, almost 70-80 centimeters, 700-800 mm vandiruchu. Again, almost 70-80% more. So what is happening is that நமக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும் North East Monsoon is our primary rainfall season. Southwest Monsoon is more like thunderstorms, night இடியோட பெய்யக்கூடிய மழை, right? But if you are and North East Monsoon, your Chennai average is 850 mm. If your lesser rainy season is giving as much rains as the main rainy season, and the main rainy season is yet to come, right? Your soil moisture is going to be very high. The reason why we are struggling to cope up with some of the flooding events is that the soil moisture is already saturated by the time the Southwest Monsoon ends and North East Monsoon starts. So, water is taking time to percolate agala. Of course, there are other issues, infrastructure issues. For example, stormwater drains are not able to carry enough, or there are other blockages in the drains. Classic last year, there was a cyclone off the Chennai coast. Because of which storm surge prevented the rivers getting the water into the sea. Tanni vandu adayarla kadalindu thirumbi ulla varudhu, right? So you can't expect stormwater drains to carry water there, right? People would complain there was no work. Everywhere it was flooded. But it was because of the factors around it. Now, other problem. The problem is, I love to quote this from the Savdar, chaos theory, which Kamal Hassan used to then. Weather is completely a chaos theory. You have no control of how the manifest would happen somewhere else, and you assume that you were working in a silo and in isolation and nothing happened. China வந்து மழை வேணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு பெய்ஜிங் ஒலிம்பிக்ஸ்ல நிறுத்தணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஏதாவது பண்ணா people assume it stopped. It was a wonderful thing. But China will also not tell you where the impact happened, or nobody else would have also thought about where the impact is கண்டுபிடிக்கிறது. Weather does not work in isolation.
Yeah. Well, very well explained. I like the way you connected so many things, including Kamal Hassan's famous dialogues. But, sir, before we go on to what the people can do, let me ask you one question before we take a commercial break. Has the Tamil Nadu government done enough, or is it too much, too little, too late that we are doing now rescue boats, kitchens, health centers, rescue operations? Is it too little, too late? And all the 10 months that we had was basically gone in flyovers, racing, cutting, all that. Have we wasted too much time that now it all seems too little, but way too late?
I would say that it's similar to the Chennai lakes. Chennai lakes take rest for 9 months. They work overtime for 3 months. Okay. Some people assume, 9 மாசம் காலியாகுதியா இது வந்து பிளாட் போட்டுருவோம் அப்படின்னு. What they don't realize is that the 3 months it works overtime ensures that it needs that rest for 9 months. இல்லைன்னா உன் வீட்டுள்ள தண்ணி வந்துடும். Right? So, while yes, there's always room for improvement, I think a lot of work is certainly happening. For example, there's a control room setup which is being done by Tamil Nadu Government. There are people being put in place, and now we have almost 1,400 automatic rain gauges which are pushing in 1 hour rainfall data. முன்னாடி நமக்கு வந்து எவ்வளவு மழை பெய்யுதுன்னே தெரியாது. Right? Now we know, okay, one of the biggest things about Chennai was we had a very strong blogging weather station network. Most of the bloggers had weather stations. So we were able to identify any heavy rainfall event like that in real time. I have a station and there are others who are having. So the moment we see a very heavy rainfall event, we immediately say, okay, in my station, the rainfall rate is 60 centimeters, 60 mm an hour, 70 mm an hour, 100 mm an hour. So the rainfall is heavy. Now, that was not possible because you can't have weather bloggers everywhere. Now, we have about 1,400 ARGs installed and they are online. That's the first step. Similarly, as I said, control center. As I said, there's always room for improvement. But I think we are making efforts. In the time, let me also give you another snippet. You can't get disaster preparedness just like putting a switch on. Switch on, light on, but we can never be prepared. Okay? But to be prepared, you should be ready all the time. It may not. You should also have the maturity to say, it did not happen, so I am safe. Next time, I will not say, last time it did not happen, so I will not be ready.
Right. Well, you've increased my BP and also calmed it at the same time. There's some magic in the weather. There is some mystery in the weather. We're trying to demystify all of this. And also, sir, what we would like to understand from you, what can we do? What should the people do from your expertise? We'll talk about this in a bit. Stay locked in. This is Chennai Live 104.8. It's a special weather forecast. Not of today, not of tomorrow, but for the entire North East Monsoon. Stay locked in. Well, sir, these days, at least Tamil Nadu வந்து ஒரு hashtag ரொம்ப ட்ரெண்டிங்காக இருக்கு. We are using these words which we don't understand too much of. La Nina and El Nino. It's some effect, sir. Of course, it's having a severe side effect on us with the fear that it's creating. ஆனால் இதோட அர்த்தம் என்ன இருக்கு? What is La Nina effect and El Nino effect, sir? Tell me in a common man's language.
Okay. So, El Nino is basically when Central Pacific heats up by 0.5 degrees or more than the long-term average. Okay? For a period of 5 months, it becomes El Nino. If the same Central Pacific is cooler than normal by 0.5 degrees or more for 5 months, it becomes La Nina. Now, what happens is, during El Nino and during La Nina, the impact across the globe changes. For example, El Nino எடுத்துட்டீங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், southwest monsoon, which most of India gets rains, is normally poorer. We get lesser rains. During La Nina years, it's better. Okay. North East Monsoon எடுத்துக்கிட்டிங்கன்னா most of the El Nino years have been good. So you can say if it's El Nino, you can be fairly assured, okay, நமக்கு ஒரு decent monsoon இருக்கு, drought வருது, probability கம்மி அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. La Nina இருந்தா நான் முன்னாடியே சொன்ன மாதிரி it's like a pendulum. ரெண்டு சைடில் எங்கே வேணா போகலாம். இந்த வருஷம் incidentally we are shifting from El Nino to La Nina. Last year was a El Nino year. 2015 was a El Nino year. So தமிழ்நாட்டில் என்ன ப்ராப்ளம்னா அந்த 2015 போய் இப்படி ஒட்டிக்கிச்சு. El Nino ஒன்னா மழை கொட்டும் அப்படின்ட்டு. But what people don't realize is 2005, which is a La Nina year, saw more rains than 2015. Right? So நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி it's not El Nino or La Nina alone that decides the rains. It's other factors. NGO அப்புறம் வந்து நிறைய tropical waves இருக்கு. North East Monsoon ஒரு முக்கியமான ஃபேக்டர் என்னன்னா இந்த புயல் disturbances, as I call சலனங்கள், right? So low pressure area, depression, cyclone, எல்லாமே all of them are disturbance. They are tropical disturbance at the end of the day. They are a circulation. The intensity varies. A low pressure area is weaker, a cyclone is stronger, but everything is a circulation. Okay? And all of them bring rains. Okay? So இது வந்து where do they form and where do they move? That decides the season actually, honestly. So for example, எடுத்துக்கிட்டிங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், 2013, ஓகே, 4-5 சைக்ளோன் வந்துச்சுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். எதுவுமே மெட்ராஸ் பக்கம் தமிழ்நாடு பக்கம் வரல, எல்லாம் மேலே போச்சு. We had one of the poorest years. Okay, 2005 கிட்டத்தட்ட everything came south of Andhra. வரிசையா வாரத்துக்கு ஒரு வாரம் 10 நாள் கழிச்சு இன்னொன்று, ஒரு வாரம் 10 நாள் கழிச்சு இன்னொன்றுனா you get rains. So while yes, El Nino could give you good monsoon during Northeast Monsoon time, La Nina could be a wild card அப்படின்னு வேணா சொல்லலாம். நம்ம எது வரும்னு தெரியாது நமக்கு. Surprise element is always there. For Southwest Monsoon, it's more favorable.
Okay.
That is in general.
Like you say, it's a pack of cards. I don't know whether we'll come up as kings, aces, or jokers. I don't know that.
Absolutely.
So in the Nino, Nina is a little bit like Nia, Nana, but...
Incidentally, the Nino and Nina was not meteorological names.
Okay, then...
These names were given by Peruvian fishermen.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because the fish catch for them is dependent on Nino and Nina.
Okay.
Okay? So during La Nina times, they get a excess pampered.
Okay.
So they treat it as like a gift of Christ or whatever, I think.
They are saying like, what the fish, and we are saying, what the... Okay, so moving on, like you said, these names are very interesting. Sila vartikal number mind le abdiye, it's there, Michong, Warda, these names are always with us, Tihar, all these names. What is the name for this upcoming cyclone, and how do these cyclones get its names? They're very interesting names.
Yeah, so...
Mandau, Mandus, yeah.
So basically, the naming of cyclone was a convention which was practiced for long in Atlantic, US, Atlantic and East Pacific. Atlantic lenana, simultaneously you might have 3 cyclones. It's a wide body, water body. So Africa lend US coast varaikum thousands of kilometers. So at any given point of time, there could be 3 cyclones or hurricanes as they call. Rendu onnu dhaan. So to tell person that cyclone 1 or cyclone 2 or cyclone 3 is going to impact them, it was confusing. People are cyclone 1 enga irukku, cyclone 2 enga irukku nu solittu. Right? So what they did was they started naming way back in the early 1900s and all. For North Indian Ocean, we came much later. Late 90s, started naming it. This is an interesting point. The Indian Meteorological Department, IMD, is the nodal body for North Indian Ocean. The Regional Cyclone Center for North Indian Ocean was the IMD. IMD is supposed to give alerts not for India alone. The entire North Indian Ocean, right from Somalia till Thailand. Okay. The entire ring, IMD gives alert. So what IMD did was, okay, there are some 7 or 8 countries on the Indian Ocean ring. Let each of these countries start giving names. So model list வந்து ஒரு set of names contributed by all the countries. அது ஒரு list போச்சு. இப்போ செகண்ட் ரவுண்ட் ஆஃப் லிஸ்ட்டில் போயிட்டுருக்கோம். ஸோ தீஸ் கோ பை alphabetical order of the country. So for example, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, அது மாதிரி A to be the name of the countries prakaram it goes. So each of the country has given a name that goes as per the list. That's how the naming happens. So for example, Varda was a name given by Pakistan. It came to Chennai, maybe because Chennai crowd is a very receptive crowd for cricket. So Varda thought, okay, let me go and check whether Chepauk is good enough for me to see.
So, what could be the name this time? What are the options?
Multiple names. There are multiple names. It will go as per the list.
Okay, fantastic. Now we've spoken about the names. Let's go into the reality. How harsh is reality? We'll talk about this in a bit. Stay locked in. This is Chennai Live 104.8. I definitely know there are going to be few names we'll be saying for the next few months. One will be God, oh God, oh God, whichever God you believe in. One will be Srikanth. But what's going to be the name of the cyclone that we'll be saying, oh my, it's arrived? What's this?
The next one is going to be Dana. That's a name given by Qatar. The previous one was Asna, which Pakistan incidentally gave. So as I was mentioning, PQ. So it goes as per the alphabetical order of the countries.
Okay.
So the next one is by Qatar, Dana. So
Dana
very soon
is...
we'll start having Dana.
I would say Vandana. Okay. So today we can smile and speak about it. But when we speak about the North East Monsoon experiences we have had, there are few things that's in the heart of every Tamil Nadu person, sir. It is those completely flooded roads. It is the rescue boat going into houses, apartments and taking people out. It is the hunt for food. It is people helping the other people. It is rush at these shelter homes is what we know of it. Is this going to be a situation once again where people are helpless, looking at the sky, completely at mercy and hoping that this will end sometime soon? Are we seeing something like that, sir?
I think this is, I think, possibly the best time for me to mention, right? So, Chennai is a very flat terrain, right? So, and plus, for example, Pallikarnai marshland was traditionally the water sinks, right? So, we'll have areas where we might have waterlogging, right? So, a lot of people by this time possibly are aware that their houses might reach a certain water level during certain levels of rains, right? So I think one important thing which possibly they should do is that if they have seen flooding in the last 3-4 years, waterlogging in the last 3-4 years, better to keep the important things at a much higher level. That's I think the first thing which they should do. And if they, for example, if they have people who would require medical attention, always evaluate a safe eviction route. I think அது வந்து முன்னாடியே plan பண்ணி வச்சுக்கிறது better. That is something which only they will know, because they have seen through these flooding incidents. They know which road gets water clogged, which does not get waterlogged, etc. அது முன்னாடியே keep that in mind, so that at this point of time, if say for example I need to evacuate, please do evacuate. அதுக்கு தான் சொல்றேன், maybe if need be, keep the things at a safer height, so that you're not too worried about things, right?
So, before you continue, sir, you are saying on the roads, Munadi, they were flooded, be prepared for that. Are you saying that the road condition, the flooding on the roads, the toppling of the trees, the uprooting of trees, the toppling of the cars, you're saying all that could still happen, keeping the road condition in mind and keeping...
If you have a cyclone, trees toppling is something which you can't avoid. Okay. And let's also accept one more fact. Enna vandu even in this year's Southwest Monsoon, we've seen Vijayawada, where nearly 30-40 centimeters fell down in one day, right? Or say, for example, Gujarat, Delhi, Tripura, Bombay, right? So the pattern is changing, right? Because India is surrounded with water on all three sides. So whatever happens in the water influences us. And we have the hottest ocean body. On an average, Varsham Pura, 28-29 degrees Celsius is what you go and touch the bay, you will feel. Okay. Warm water means more rains, heavier rains or extreme rainfall episodes, right? So infrastructurally, you can plan for 1 in 50-year event or 1 in 100-year event, but 1 in 1,000 years event you can't infrastructurally plan, right? The investments are too high. No local body can afford to make investments. Okay, so tomorrow there will be somebody questioning, sir, நீங்க என்ன சார் ஆள் உயரத்துக்கு storm water drain போட்டுருக்கீங்க, மழையே பெய்யல அப்படின்னு, right? So it's tough to find the balance, right? So, but let's also keep in mind that we are also seeing an increasing instance of extreme rainfall events, which we should be prepared of.
What are the other steps we should be prepared for, sir?
The other thing is that when there is an alert, okay, please listen to the alert and be cautious. One of the worst things which has happened of late is that red alert கொடுத்தா மழை நின்னுடும். Because red alert கொடுக்கறது reason என்னன்னா, there is a reason that we could see something extreme. It may or may not happen, right? நம்ம கையில் கிடையாது. நம்ம வந்து மழையை வந்து டேங்க்ல மேலே வந்துட்டு பைப்பு திறக்கிற மாதிரி மழை வர்றது கிடையாது, ரைட்? பட் த ரீசன் வை யூ ஆர் பீங் அலர்ட்டட் இஸ் தட் ப்ளீஸ் பி ப்ரிப்பேர்ட், ரைட்? ஸோ ரெட் அலர்ட் வந்தால் மழை வராது. ஆர் சே ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் வந்து புயல் வந்து மட்ராஸ் வரும்னு சொல்கிறாங்க, அது எங்கேயா ஆந்திரா பக்கம் போகும்பா. வாட் இஸ் இட்? சி தெர் ஆர் சீரியஸ் பீப்புள் ஹூ ஸ்பெண்ட் days and nights seeing weather models. IMD gives alerts. Then there is a disaster management authority in Tamil Nadu which works round the clock trying to tell people, please be prepared. ஒரு மீம் போட்டுறீங்க நீங்க, ரெட் அலர்ட் போட்டாச்சுப்பா மழை வராது. I mean, let's have some seriousness. Because at the end of the day, if something happens to you, you're the only guy who's been responsible because you did not treat the alert seriously, right? 10 வாட்டி அலர்ட் கொடுக்குறோம், 9 வாட்டி மழை பெய்யல, நோ ப்ராப்ளம். 10வது வாட்டி மழை பெஞ்சப்ப நீ வீட்டில் இருந்தப்ப தப்பிச்ச, கரெக்ட்? ப்ளீஸ் ரிமெம்பர் தட். 10 புயல் வந்துச்சு, 8 புயல் மேலே போயிடுச்சு, இல்லை 9 புயல் மேலே போயிடுச்சு. 10வது புயல் வந்தப்ப நீ வீட்டில் இருந்த, தப்பிச்சியா? கீப் தட் இன் மைண்ட்.
So, but why is it sometimes, I understand what you're saying, I appreciate what you say, I think it's a question of life, logic and sense is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
But Nariya Vati, it's like the fox is called. It's going to rain very heavily in the morning. Pata, it's one of the hottest days. School has declared holiday for students. Pata, onnume nadakala, you know.
The school holiday is a paradox actually. Enna North East Monsoon oda maximum pathina vechukla, the period when it rains heaviest is early morning. That's how the characteristic of that monsoon is. Okay, 6 மணிக்கு கிளம்புற நேரத்தில் மழை கொட்டிச்சுன்னா there's a panic. Okay, and then you have people saying, collector, please leave விடுங்க. And the poor collector is blamed if the rains continue and kids are stuck. And the poor collector is also blamed if there is
the sun comes out, they say, ஏன்டா லீவ் விட்டார்.
சன் நிச்சயம் வரும் சார். ஏன்னா 8 மணி 9 சாதாரணமா புயலோ இல்ல ஒரு டிப்ரெஷனோ இல்ல லோ பிரஷரோ இல்லைன்னா 9 மணி 10 மணிக்கு சன் நிச்சயமா வரும்.
Okay.
That is how North East Monsoon is. In a tropical country like ours, there are too many factors involved. சரியா? ஒன்னு வந்து, as I said, we are very close to the sea. Yeah. So sea plays a huge role, right? Then we also have what is called as influences from mid-latitude, westerly troughs. So we are not alone. So சில சமயத்தில் I think I started with Petai. That is one cyclone I will never forget because it forced me to issue a public apology. And I will still never forget because that one ensures I am still grounded. Right? Because that cyclone went up due to an influence from the westerly trough. Right? It's a fine line. அது வந்து ஒரு 2 நாள் கழிச்சு நடந்திருந்தா சென்னை would have got the rains. or ஒரு நாள் கழிச்சு நடந்தா சென்னை would have got the rains. People will not understand that. But to me, I have to warn people. I cannot say 2 நாள் வந்து வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க, மழை வந்தா வரலாம். I have to tell that it is likely to rain. It is likely to be heavy. You should be prepared. நான் திரும்ப சொன்னதுதான், சுவிட்ச் போட்ட மாதிரி வராது. டியூப்லைட் மட்டும்தான் சுவிட்ச் போட்டா அது கூட எரியாது. இன்னைக்கு எல்இடி பல்ப் போட்டா எரியலாம். Right? You can't be prepared. You should be ready for it. Right? For that I have to say, திரும்ப சொன்ன மாதிரி தான், 10 வாட்டி சொன்னா 8 வாட்டி நடந்திருக்கலாம், இல்லை 8 வாட்டி நடக்காம போயிருக்கலாம். பட் அது 2 வாட்டி நடந்துச்சு, நீங்க தப்பிச்சிங்க இல்லையா, அதை தயவு செய்து மனசில் வச்சுக்கோங்க, அவ்வளோதான்.
The memes is different, but the meteorological department is a completely different game.
Absolutely.
We'll continue our conversation in a bit, sir. We talk about your story. We talk about your faith and your message to the people who trust you blindly. Stay locked in. This is Chennai Live 104.8. Today, courtesy social media, sir, many people are predicting. You are forecasting, you are seeing it, you are studying it, you are analyzing it. This season, if I was to ask you, how can people get reliable alerts? Not panic alerts, but in-time information. How should we do that? Can we sit and predict? Can we look at the skies and assume? Do we go to a particular department? Do we follow a particular person? You can't get it right all the time. Maybe 2 people, maybe 3 people, an average of all put together might help us. What is your suggestion to the people to be cautious, to be alerted? Where do they go? How do they get factual news?
I think one of the most important apps they should possibly install is TN Smart. That's an app which the Tamil Nadu Government has put in. It would give alerts on the rains and all the other warnings on a regular basis. That's number one. If you're keen, if you want to take a couple of steps more than just getting an alert, I think there are radar apps like Rain Alarm, Rain Viewer, etc., which will show you the current radar with the storms moving. There's one other app which I think people should install, in my opinion, is the Lightning app. Damini, which is Indian IMD's own lightning app, or Weatherbug for that matter. Okay. The reason why is, let me ask you a question. I think we'll flip the tables.
Okay.
Right. Which is the natural disaster, which contributes to the highest deaths in India? Are you aware? The highest amount of deaths due to natural disaster happens because of lightning in India. 2,500 deaths a year. 2,500 deaths on an average every year happens because of lightning strikes. That's because people are not aware the lightnings are dangerous, A, and they are possibly unaware that they should not be standing under the trees.
It makes great Instagram footage, but no one knew about this.
And incidentally, a couple of years back, I took a call that I would not retweet, I will not share any lightning videos. And please don't tag me. Because people were ignoring the safety measures they should take before taking lightning. So I decided I'm not going to do. You could be any blogger. I will not
collaborate with you on these.
Right. So lightning apps are something which they should always have it, because it will give them an idea that should they step out or should they stay wherever they are. Because I think they should be aware that lightning is a dangerous risk in India.
Very well said. Or I could also say download Chennai Live app, because you'll be giving us some good information all the time. And more importantly, follow you on your handles. I think you'll be giving them very, very important updates. So finally, as we wrap up, rate this in the order of how disastrous they were. 2005, you say, was bad. 2016 haunts me. 2024 scares me. I don't know what's going to happen. So which will be the worst? 2005, 2016, 2024?
I think it would be 2005, 2024 and 2016. Because 2016 was one event.
Yeah.
But 2005 was, I think, two months of non-stop entertainment.
I would love to end on a high, but I think more than a high, it's a serious alert from now on.
I think people should be
prepared for something disastrous, but it can be contained. It can be contained with people like you, right information, on-time action. We could be in safe hands and be the friend of the weather and not curse the weather, right, sir?
Incidentally, I did put a tweet yesterday with the sunrise photograph saying that please don't curse the sun. You might long for it when the monsoon comes.
I'll treasure that one for sure and retweet it if that's what it is. Thank you very much, Srikanth, sir. Thank you for coming in today. But more importantly, thank you for your tireless years of updates, accuracy, and giving the people the best information that they need in times of panic. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you on Chennai Live. Thank you.